gentleman from California reserves, gentleman from Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Americans are now paying an average of over $5 a gallon for gas. This is the first time in history this has happened. Let me repeat, over $5 for a gallon of gas. The pain at the pump is a direct result of President Biden and congressional Democrats' radical Green New Deal agenda in a war on American energy producers. And let's just be blunt about something. The base of the Democrat Party, the bunch of woke yuppies sitting at home on Zooms all day, they don't care about gas prices. But if you're somebody who has to swing a hammer for a living and drive to a job site, if you're a woman that's a waitress at a diner, you've got to drive to your shift, that affects you. Republicans care about working families, working men and women. That's why we believe Americans deserve affordable, American-made energy. That's why if we defeat the previous question, I will personally offer an amendment to the rule to immediately consider H.R. 6858, the American Energy Independence Act. Madam Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to insert the text of my amendment into the record, along with any extraneous material immediately prior to the vote on the previous question.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Here to explain this amendment is my good friend and member of the Energy and Commerce Committee, Congressman Jeff Duncan of South Carolina. I yield him 4 minutes.
Thank you, gentlemen. I rise in opposition to the previous question so that we can amend the rule to immediately consider H.R. 6858, the American Energy Independence from Russia Act. You know, as a direct result of President Biden's war on American energy, the average national gas prices have hit $5. Don't know what they are in Michigan. I know I pay more than $5 a gallon for diesel fuel in South Carolina. This is the worst energy crisis we've seen since 1973. Why we had an energy crisis in the 70s was supply and demand. We had lessening global supply, increased demand as the economy was growing. When will we learn? The American people are feeling the pain directly due to the policies of the Biden administration. And this shouldn't come as any surprise to the American people, and really it doesn't. Because the president said during a presidential debate that he would phase out oil and gas production in the United States, and that's exactly what they're doing. It's costing moms and dads around the country. And Democrats are wondering why gas prices are so high. It's unbelievable. What's even more unbelievable is that President Biden killed American energy at the same time greenlighting Vladimir Putin's Nord Stream 2 project to allow Vladimir Putin to produce energy, sell it to Europe. We can't do that here at home. The logic of Joe Biden and the Democrats kill American energy while promoting energy developments of tyrants in Russia, Iran, and Venezuela is unbelievable. You know, it's simple. Y'all are playing politics with this country's energy crisis. Democrats want high gas prices so they can push their fallacy, a utopian world of wind, solar, and EVs for all. Meanwhile, the American families are choosing between filling up their tank and feeding their families, doing other things they're used to doing, because they're having to pay more at the pump. Energy prices hurt low-income Americans the hardest. They're seeing their savings erode in a volatile stock market. More of their paychecks going for basic commodities due to the rampant high inflation, and they're paying record high prices nationwide to fuel their vehicles. Energy Secretary Granholm's solution for high gas prices? Buy a $55,000 electric vehicle. They can range up to $90,000. How many American families can afford that? Even the Biden administration knows that's a failed approach. You know, I saw a Democrat plan recently that we're going to choose more of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to increase supply. Okay, you acknowledge a supply and demand issue. They're currently tapping the SPR at record levels to meet demand. The SPR fell to 538 million barrels just last month, and that's the lowest level since 1987. You know, that is a finite commodity that once we drain the SPR, unless you produce more energy or buy oil from Iran, Venezuela, Russia to replenish it, it's not an infinite supply. What are you going to do then? What are we going to do then when that runs out? If you want to blame someone for record high gas prices in America, look no further than House Democrats, who have already blocked Representative Kathy McMorris-Rodgers' bill, the American Energy Independence from Russia Act, 6 times. If you block it today, it'll be number 7 that you've blocked a common sense piece of legislation. It's a Republican solution. Now, this bill will approve Keystone XL pipeline, remove all restrictions on LNG exports, restart oil and gas leasing on federal lands and waters. It's well past time for the Democrats to wake up and follow the science, as you like to say. Stop putting special interest groups before the American people. Let's flip the switch. Let's support American energy and America First policies. And let's support the American Energy from Russia Act, unleash American energy production and security, take the first steps toward lowering gas prices for the Americans. Quit playing games. We're going to release the SPR oil to increase supply, to lower the price of the pump, because that's temporary. Because once that supply is used up, you're not going to have that to put back into the market.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Madam Speaker, I yield an additional 30 seconds to my good friend.
Gentleman's recognized for additional
Let's flip
30
the switch,
seconds.
folks. Let's support American energy independence, and I urge a no vote on the previous question so the House can immediately consider this common sense legislation by Kathy McMorris Rogers. And I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back.